I'm hoping they don't do some bullshit. Understand that. I'm hoping that they don't fuck this game up. Please. Please don't fuck this game up. This is a very, very, very reliable source when it comes to Sega releases. I have never seen this account up until the point in which I saw this tweet, and I wasn't even sure if it was accurate or not. I thought it was just somebody just saying some bullshit. But according to everybody on Twitter, for the most part, that's talking about this tweet, this account, whoever this is, I don't know what their role is. I don't know if they're an actual member of Sega. I don't know if they're an ex-member of Sega. I don't know if they've hacked the servers. I don't know. But apparently, they said 95% of this person's tweets when it comes to leaks are true. So I don't know for sure if this is going to be something that is 100% accurate. If it's partially accurate, I don't know. But with that said, we are overdue for a new Virtua Fighter game. Virtua Fighter 5 has been out for a long time. Even though you've had Virtua Fighter 5, you've had Virtua Fighter R, Virtua Fighter 5R, you've had Ultimate Showdown, Final Showdown. There's multiple different versions of Virtua Fighter 5, right? A lot of them play completely different to each other, as if they would kind of be like a new entry in the series. But ultimately, all of those versions of Virtua Fighter 5 are still just that. It's Virtua Fighter 5. I remember back when we had Dead or Alive 5 Vanilla, and then we had Ultimate, and then we had Last Round. And even though there's a different, title at the end of each one of those games, they were all still a specific version of Dead or Alive 5. Even though, Dead or Alive 5 Vanilla was a whole different game than Ultimate, and Ultimate was a whole different game than Last Round, it was still playing Dead or Alive 5. You understand? Again, I don't know how to say this person's name on their account. The @ is MBKKSSTBHZ5. So I'm not getting a name from that. I'm just getting a bunch of shit put together. Might mean something to them, but it doesn't mean anything to me, so I don't know what that means. Virtua Fighter, it is online and esports focused and has online and offline modes, including customization modes, which we've always had that in the past. It's always been in VF for the most part. Is online. Well, the whole esports part, it definitely was not really heavily based on esports. They really didn't start pushing that esports stuff until Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. But obviously, that was a little taste for what they really probably have planned for the future of Virtua Fighter. So, and again, we're in this time period where everything is about esports. Everything is about the flashing lights and the competitive atmosphere, right? You know what I mean? So I definitely think that Sega wants to get in on a piece of that, especially seeing that Tekken's success is the way it has been. Like, Tekken's been running shit. So it doesn't surprise me at all. There are new characters with a modern art style and a character artist. So, new characters and a modern art style. Virtua Fighter is due for new characters. Like, very, 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 very fucking due. Again, Virtua Fighter 5, the only new characters, if I'm not mistaken, that we even got from Virtua Fighter 5 to Ultimate Showdown was this John Kujo, correct? I'm pretty sure John Kujo was the only new character that was introduced in the game. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that John Kujo was the only new character that was featured in any versions of Virtua Fighter 5, which is, again, crazy to me. Because the game is so fucking old and there's been so many iterations of it since that one. It is a game concept that changed many times since 2021 up to now. So, I mean, from 2021, for them to have... And again, look at the timing of this, right? Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown was the last release. It came out back in 2021. So clearly they had to have been having their sights set forward on what they want to see for a new Virtua Fighter game if one were to come out. Pretty much saying that the concept has changed since 2021 up to now. I mean, that's perfect timing from when they released Ultimate Showdown to now. So it's pretty interesting to see that. It says streaming and spectating implementation is an important part of this title and super game concept. So it's very important that streaming and spectating is very easy to do, I'm assuming is what this is saying. Like, they're going to put some emphasis on that. As you can see again in Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown Esports Edition, on the main menu you can actually watch people's live replays, which if you look in Tekken 8, even that feature exists in this game as well. You can watch like high level replays from the main menu. So looks like they might be touching more on that and really stepping up more on the whole esports side of stuff. It looks like they're really trying to push this. It is a reboot of the Virtua Fighter series. It's in development by the current Virtua Fighter staff. So if it's being developed by the current Virtua Fighter staff, that should mean that the game should be in line with what we're kind of used to, unless they decide to just start doing some bullshit. You know what I mean? Unless they decide just to start pushing some new crazy shit into the game, which we're going to get into that in a second. Unless they decide to just push some new crazy thing into the game, if it's being worked on by current Virtua Fighter staff, that means that everything should be in-house. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really interested to see what this is going to be like. And again, there's no fucking telling when this John's going to drop. You know what I mean? It says, it is a title releasing on all major platforms with crossplay and rollback. It says, this is a Virtua Fighter title that is developed to be a modern competitor to Street Fighter and Tekken. Okay? Very important that we understand what they're saying with this. Saying that this game is being made to compete with Street Fighter and Tekken. You can't just say that and not be trying to compete. That means that some fucking crazy shit is going to be taking place in this game. I'm telling you guys. Mark my word. There's either going to be some kind of bar of meter. There's going to be some kind of super comeback mechanic. I know it doesn't seem likely given the history of Virtua Fighter, but how many chances have they been given to change the system of the game around? You guys got to understand, this is their chance. There isn't going to be another one for Virtua Fighter. This is their chance to do something drastic, and I think they know it. And I think that they're going to do some bullshit. I'm hoping they don't do some bullshit. Understand that. I'm hoping that they don't fuck this game up. Please. Please don't fuck this game up. This is a Virtua Fighter title that is developed to be a modern competitor to Street Fighter and Tekken, and esports concepts and mechanics that are similar to current Street Fighter and other fighting games. It is a concept that has evolved a lot. That means that the game has evolved a lot. I'm telling you guys. So you got to understand what this is saying here. If first and foremost, you're even comparing Virtua Fighter to Tekken and Street Fighter at that. Tekken I can understand because of 3Ds. But to even put Street Fighter in that conversation, to me that sounds like some kind of bars of meter are going to be incorporated in this game. Okay? I mean, like, this could either be really good or really bad. And the more we're going to read this, you're going to understand why I'm saying that. And there is an all-new main story and side story with brand new characters. Like, the person's putting an emphasis on these new characters. There's an evolution of rank matches that is similar to modern fighting games. This is a title that is focusing on scaling with the player and their play styles when they play online. So obviously, you know, Virtua Fighter has always kind of had their whole rank system and stuff like that. Looks like they're going to be putting more of an emphasis on that as well. Maybe closer to Tekken or something like that. I mean, it looks like they're really just trying to... they're trying to really just get this game to be as modern as possible. And if you think about it, again, not me, I'm not saying what I want here, but a lot of fighting game fans have said that they would love to try Virtua Fighter if it was more modernized, if they had updated sound effects, if the game was smoother, whatever, blah, blah. They've always said that they would give the game a chance if it felt like it was worthy of one. And apparently Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown wasn't worthy of one to them. This isn't just a cut and dry scenario here, you know. The sad thing about all of this is it doesn't matter what they do to this game. People are going to decide to play it or they're not. And I'm telling you guys right now, history just tends to kind of repeat itself. And we can't compare Virtua Fighter, or Dead or Alive for that matter, to a game like Street Fighter or Tekken. As you guys know, Tekken and Street Fighter are like shooting games when it comes to their player bases. Street Fighter and Tekken sell millions of copies, okay? Millions, all right? When you compare it even to a game like Dead or Alive or even Virtua Fighter, not talking about outside of Asia, obviously, but in the U.S., Virtua Fighter in the U.S. is never going to sell as much as Tekken in the U.S. Virtua Fighter in the U.S. is never going to sell as much as Street Fighter in the U.S. It's not even comparable. We're talking about games that are on a whole nother, like Tekken 7 put that game on a whole nother scale of gaming. Like, Tekken Tag 2 almost killed the franchise. So go from almost having your franchise dying to having it just being straight on top right now. You know what I mean? I really want people to understand that it doesn't matter what they do to Virtua Fighter. It doesn't matter what they do to any game. If it's not a fan favorite and it's not the one that everybody's playing, unfortunately, when it comes to fighting games, this is not going to happen. Even if you look at shooting games. Look how many awesome shooting games come out and how many of them actually stick around. How many of them compete? You know what I mean? Then you got the other games that kind of were on that same level at one point. Like DOA used to be on the same level as Tekken, definitely when it came to just the respect I guess it got in the FGC. You know, prior to online shit and everything like that. But you know, DOA used to sell some motherfucking copies, bro. Back in like DOA 3 time, DOA 4. Are you kidding me? But like you compare it to games like Gears of War, whereas like Gears of War and Call of Duty used to be in the same conversation. Now it's not even close. You know what I mean? Not everything is really meant to stay on the same level. Eventually, there's going to be some kind of rise and fall of something. But if people think that if whatever they're going to plan to do to Virtua Fighter is going to make people play the game, you're dead wrong. Like, it's going to most likely be played for a couple of weeks by the whole FGC. Like I said, you're going to have everybody in the FGC getting on fucking YouTube and putting their reaction videos up like they're going to play the game. They're not going to play the game. They're not going to play the fucking game. Like, let's understand that right now. Dead or Alive 5 was out, and Dead or Alive 5 was the best entry next to Dead or Alive 4 as far as player base. And Dead or Alive 5 had a fucking Virtua Fighter crossover. The characters were in the game. They weren't just costumes. They weren't mods. The Virtua Fighter characters were in the game. And even Virtua Fighter motherfuckers wouldn't play DOA. I remember trying to beg some Virtua Fighter players to come and play DOA, and their fucking characters were in the game, for Christ's sake, and they still wouldn't play it. So, unfortunately, people are just going to play what the fuck they're going to play. And I really need people to also understand that, once again, it doesn't matter what they do to this Virtua Fighter game. It's not just going to make people want to play it. It doesn't work that way. It's got to be a fan favorite. Their favorite content creators have to be playing it. And as soon as their favorite content creators stop playing it, they ain't playing that shit no more. Maximilian Dude is going to play this new Virtua Fighter game for about a month. Max reacts and shit, you know what I mean? He's going to have the whole FGC riding the wave. And as soon as he moves on to the next game, they're going to move on to the next game. Remember DNF Duel? You guys remember DNF Duel? A game that was made by a respected company. Very respected in the 2D community in the FGC. And that game is a ghost town. I probably have easier time getting matches on fucking DOA 6 right now, to be honest with you. But it's also just not really that common, especially when we're talking about fighting games. Even though they're getting bigger, they're still niche when it comes to gaming in general. When you compare them to MOBAs and shooting games, GTA, you can't compete with stuff like that as a fighting game company. You can't. My whole reason of making this a conversation is because if this is the case, why change the game? Okay? I've seen people on Twitter talking shit to me saying, oh, well, Emery, I get that you're a big fan of Virtua Fighter and the game being all old school and blah, 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 but they're going to have to change up and add some kind of super stuff eventually if they want people to be interested. And that should tell you right there, I'm talking to people that wouldn't play the game regardless, and I know that. Be honest, guys, in my chat right now, do you guys think that a Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown had some kind of super comeback mechanic or a bar of meter or anything at all that people would be playing that over Tekken 8 right now? I want you guys to be honest in chat. Be honest right now. This is the shit that people don't want to talk about. Okay? And I'm afraid that Sega is going to ruin this game ultimately for life. Because they're going to try to cater to people that aren't going to play the game anyway. I get that they got to do something new. I understand. But if you guys think for 1 second that anything, like people were bitching about, I stopped playing because there wasn't enough custom items. No, you didn't. You just want something to blame it on. You can just say you didn't like the game. Like, it wasn't because of the motherfucking custom items. Like, seriously. It doesn't matter. You had Main Man Swee on YouTube shitting on a game that he has no idea how to play at all, not even a little bit. The sound effects. I just don't understand the sound effects. Talking about the sound effects. Bro, even if the sound effects were all fresh and new and came out in 2023, 2024, you still wouldn't play the game and you'd still find something to complain about. It's easy to point out something that doesn't really fucking matter here. Okay? Like, something that really doesn't fucking matter here. But the fact of the matter is, it does not matter what they do to this game. Okay? It doesn't matter if the graphics look just as good as Tekken 8's. I'm willing to bet that if they completely carbon copied Tekken 8's mechanics and put them in VF6, people still wouldn't play the game. I'm just telling the truth here. I'm saying this as someone who plays the game. You guys know I'm a VF head. You guys know I streamed Virtua Fighter 3 here, Virtua Fighter 4. I went to Japan and imported all the fucking games back. You're either a VF player or you're not. And I'm not going to say that VF5 Ultimate Showdown didn't convert any players. There were some people that came over and actually Ultimate Showdown was their first VF. I'm willing to bet that 50% of the player base that are playing the game right now are probably newer players. 100, 200 new consistent players is not going to change anything. How many people are in Tekken 8 right now? And I'm saying this, unfortunately, as a guy who plays the fighting games that nobody plays. It says Daishi Odashima is involved in this project. Somebody in my chat probably knows who that is. I don't know who that is, but maybe you guys can help me out. RGG Studio assisted with the development. So, RGG Studio, if I'm not mistaken, they're the ones within Sega that works on the Yakuza series. Am I wrong with that? The main concept is a battle universe. It's an open space where you can spectate fights. So listen to this very clearly. They are trying to go for something here. Look at Tekken. Look at Street Fighter. Look at Tekken. What do both of these games now have? They got this open world battle hub where you can make your little avatar and run around and dance and shit. And do kamehamehas and shit. You know what I mean? Like, every game is kind of following a formula. Because unfortunately, if you don't follow that formula, you're really destined to fail. Understand, if you're going to come out, if they're going to come out with a new DOA, if they're going to come out with a new Bloody Roar, you can't bring the game out and not put a hub in the game. Think about that, guys, real quick. I know it sounds insane, but we're used to this shit now. Even in Guilty Gear. Imagine them coming out with a new fighting game and you have to invite your friends to a lobby and there's no way to just run around with an avatar. I'm not saying that it would stop me from playing it, but think about how many people would bitch about it. Okay? There's a standard now, and it's just recently happened, right? The new games that come out that are fighting games have to kind of follow that standard now. And if they don't, you're going to have IGN reviewers, really missing that Battle Hub feature that all these other games have. Come on, now you can see it as clear as day. So, yeah, having a battle universe, that sounds about right. They're going to have to get with the times. They got to. They have no choice. Why do you think that it says the concept has switched since 2021? They're waiting. They're watching what everyone's doing. These motherfuckers are sitting back in their chair waiting for Tekken 8 to drop like, we must do this or we will not succeed. Like, I'm telling you. These motherfuckers were sitting back in their chair and was waiting for Tekken 8 to drop. They were waiting. Okay? They had to. They'd be foolish not to copy off of whatever they're doing, you know? Yeah. It says, development began in 2021, but early ideas for this title go back to almost 10 years ago. Development began in 2021, but the early ideas were 10 years ago. They've been waiting for this. Okay? They've been waiting. And rightfully so, because pulling the trigger too quick on something like this could probably end up in a disaster for them, you know? And then the newest news that we got from this account was it is a reboot title with the goal of making Virtua Fighter a popular series worldwide, but it is also Virtua Fighter 6. This is the sequel to Virtua Fighter 5. The development team has carefully improved and implemented new fighting techniques inspired by other games. So think about what we're missing right now from Virtua Fighter as far as fighting styles go. We're going to see a lot of archetypes. Or I'm sorry, we're going to see a lot of character archetypes that we've never seen before probably in Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter doesn't have that many characters in its current install in the series, right? So because Virtua Fighter doesn't have that many characters in the current version of the game, think about the different fighting styles that they can now put in the game. You know, think about the new types of martial arts that are going to be seen in the game. So I'm excited, man. Listen, I'm excited, and I'm going to be excited no matter what because I love 3D fighting games, and this is what I do. However, I will be very, very heartbroken if they decide to go the route with this game that has been proven by other games that is just not the way to go. Do you want to lose your series and lose everybody that's ever played it, or do you want to at least keep the players that played it because they're going to stick around and support the game like they have been for the last 15 fucking years? I mean, guys, Virtua Fighter 5 is 19 years old. Does that sound normal to y'all? It's been some time. I really, really, really hope that they don't ruin this game. With all of the new versions of Virtua Fighter 5, it's still Virtua Fighter 5. There's no super mechanics. There's no meters. There's no, oh, I'm getting pressured. Let me activate this heat smash and just stop the game. You know what I'm saying? There is none of that. It's all, are you good or are you not? I'm so serious when I say that. That's what the game is. There's no, oh, I'm getting beat. He's hitting me. Oh, man, he just hit me. And because I wanted to fucking press a button, I'm going to activate a Rage Art and kill you now. There isn't any of that. And the problem is that's okay. I just don't think that Sega truly believes that it's okay. Because I really truly believe they're going to add mechanics in this game that are going to probably ruin it. It just sucks because if they do something big and drastic like that now, at this current point in VF, it will be like, damn, dude, you guys did all of this. You made this game and its legacy to be this real legit fighting game, and then you just kind of sell out. Like, it sucks because you can't get mad at them from a business standpoint, but it sucks because you kind of have to if you really love this game, you know?